and I wanted to make impact. And when I was at Ikeji Electric, I solved a few problems. Like I made some propositions on how they could better serve their customers.
Okay.
And when I also got to Egbin, luckily for me, I saw some problems that were left by the Korean guys then that were in partnership with them, and I proposed solutions that could really help. But I knew that if I was going to really create a solution that could really impact people, I needed to go into a space that I would have more control over.
Okay.
And that was why I entered more, like that was one of the things that actually pushed my interest into renewable energy. I had done a lot of research before I went for these internships, but and I'd already proved the fact that renewable energy is actually like a very viable and feasible solution for Nigeria. And so when I also now got the opportunity to work in these organizations, it further concretize the fact that we actually needed decentralized systems that could help provide power to these end users. And that was actually
interesting, because you took us through how we get power. I want to ask you, so now why are we not getting power? What is the problem?
okay, so it's actually very, very easy. Now Nigeria needs about 80 gigawatts of power, being generated from all the power plants. We run a central grid system. We have power plants in Egbin, the Kainji Dam and all of that, transferring power to the national grid, which is then distributed by companies like Ikeji Electric, Eco Distribution and all of that. But when the amount of power being generated by Nigeria is around an average of 4 gigawatts, and what we need is 80 gigawatts, that means that there has to be rationing of power. So this case is just like when you have this I better pass my neighbor generator in your home, and you can't power something like an AC, you can't power some heavy appliances, all because you can only power what you have capacity to power. So that's why Ikeji Electric sometimes would have to switch off some places just to match up with what is being generated from all our power plants across Nigeria.
Interested. I want to go into more of that.
Yeah, before you go again, that just leaves people with the question, okay, how do they arrive at switching off when and what? Who do they give?
Why is my area switched off for over 2 days?
As it were. But hey, let's not go into that.
No, at all. All right. So your flagship product, Renerworld Light Classic, currently powers over 70 tech designers and developers across 9 states in Nigeria. Please tell us about this product. I mean, 9 states is huge. 70 tech developers is a lot. I don't know, is that number still the current number, or you've added more to it?
No, we've added.
So tell us about this product.
Okay, so Renerworld Light Classic is just, I call it a very amazing product.
Okay.
We thought about this idea in 2020 during the pandemic. That was a major time.
The pandemic idea.
We started off just installing solar PV systems in rooms and halls.
Okay.
But the pandemic basically crippled our operation.
Wow.
We had a lot of colleagues reaching out to say, Emmanuel, I know you back in and I know you do solar, but how can I have power in my home? I work remotely. And we couldn't provide anything. Other solutions that we had there had one issue or the other. So, I and my colleagues came around and were like, okay, what can we do to solve this particular problem? And we came up with Renerworld Light Classic. Now, this is one thing that makes Renerworld Light Classic very special.
Okay.
It's not just a small system to power a few bulbs or maybe some specific bulbs in your house. And it's not the type that you have to buy specific appliances, maybe a DC appliance and all of that. We ensured that the system could actually power a very wide range of appliances in your home. For example, we have developers that use stuff as big as 55 inches LED TV as extended screen display for their workstations and all. And you can we imagine the way tech guys work. We wanted them to be able to also power things like washing machine and blender. So it's a compact system that
on one system.
So it basically connects to the entire house.
Okay.
You can have it power the entire house. We have some others that said okay, they just want them it's connected directly to their workstation. They don't want to connect the entire house. But you have that flexibility.
Okay.
And it's a compact system. It's plug and play. You can decide to actually set it up yourself. We made sure that it's something we can easily send to anywhere in Nigeria, and they can.
And you don't have to be there to install it.
No, we don't have to. We've solved all of those complexity issues. You just get there, you connect your stuff, and it starts working. So you can have it deployed within 5 minutes.
Wow.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Man, so those of you who have been in darkness and you're waiting for, the distribution company to wait for the generation company to send some light their way so they can send your way, here is a solution right there, right in your face. I mean, this is very inspiring. It's as if I just carry you, like when a club wins or qualifies for the World Cup or something.
Yeah.
You know how they carry the coach. That's what I feel like doing to you right now. But it's quite inspiring.
But I want to ask now. There are a lot of these solutions out there. What would you say makes your Renerworld Classic unique? I mean, we talk to a lot of companies on this show, and we hear similar things. You know, can power this, can power that, but what do you think make Renerworld Classic, very unique from other solutions?
Okay, so this is what I would say. We actually considered all of these appliances, like before we actually created Renerworld Classic, because there's no point creating a solution that others have already solved. So one of the things we considered when we're trying to build Renerworld Classic, aside functionality, one, we wanted it to be plug and play.
Okay.
We wanted it to be able to offer enormous power. So we have developers who reached out to us to say, oh, I don't even connect to NEPA anymore. Like my system, based on their... So there are those who still need to use electricity supply, but there are those who have like very low energy consumption. Maybe they just use a laptop and fan, maybe standing rechargeable fan, and they're able to get 24 hours from it. So, we have people like that. But aside that, Renerworld Classic is also like a very good price. So the second person we actually installed for Renerworld actually works in one of the solar energy companies, major solar energy companies, and he told us that one of the reasons why he went for the product was he likes the specification, but the price was ridiculously low compared to at least what he knows based on what they offer in the organization. Was like, okay, I'm a developer, I wouldn't just go for my company's product because of sentiment. I'll go for what would work.
What to work.
Yeah. And since he got it, I actually even got to meet him luckily last week, and I was like, so what has your experience been? He was like, man, if you didn't get this, let me just say this, I don't encourage people to overwork themselves, but he said because he uses Renerworld Classic, he actually works with a Nigerian company, he works remotely, and also works with an American company. So he's able to do a lot more work because he has access to reliable electricity supply. And he's not paying he has not been paying anything, on fuel or anything since last year.
I work remotely, so I mean, I can... if there is no light, I'm not sure.
How can we survive without working remotely these days?
Honestly,
with movement being tough around Lagos, I mean, certainly you have to find a way of working remotely, and your solution is certainly one of those things one should consider in case you're still trying to set it up. I'm sure this has paid off one way or the other, because we know that you were giving $10,000 grants. See the smile on his face, right? I mean, you're one of the 7 winners of the 10,000 grants at the just concluded 2021 Clean Tech Technology Hub and All-On Incubation Program. And how would you describe the impact of this program? I know on your company and on you.
Massive. I would say massive. The grants came exactly when we actually did it.
Wow.
So, throughout last year, we were trying to deploy as much as we could, but from the beginning, we bootstrapped. We're working with profits, recycling to increase our capacity. We need something to help us scale, to be able to offer customers more. And how you would know that is that, so what we've done in the first quarter of this year alone is actually same with what we did throughout last year and 2020. So we've done numbers.
Hold on, say it again.
Okay. So I would say we are the numbers of systems we've deployed this year alone.
This year, Q1.
This Q1 is the same with what we deployed throughout last year plus 2020.
Oh wow!
So
that's massive.
That's really helped in scaling, our production and be able to reach better customers more. Like we've really scaled our operation.
But is this just because of the grant money you got, or is there something from that training that you learned that added value to the business? Is there where was the company? You started in 2017. You joined the program last year, early 2021.
Exactly.
So where was the company when you joined the program? And we now know where you are now, but where were you before you joined the program, and what did the program do?
Okay, so let me say, I believe knowledge is power. One of the mistakes I think we made then, I wouldn't say it's a mistake, it's a learning process. Is that we wanted to do we wanted to do everything with like ourselves. The in-house team. I believed in just increasing in-house team strength and engineers and all of that. But one of the things I learned through the program was that to actually scale rapidly, you have to think around some of these problems. Okay. So, for example, now we have a project currently going on in Benin and Amir. That's because we have partners now. So rather than increase our in-house team, we just sign partnerships with different partners across various states in Nigeria, ensuring that they follow the right quality and we're able to scale rapidly. without getting the knowledge from the program, I probably wouldn't have been able to think around this and be able to scale faster. So even if we could produce a lot, we would still actually need people to be able to help scale up our deployment.
Collins, I'm happy with what the all-on incubation program is doing in partnership with Clean Technology Hub, and we have another incubation program with NCIC, Nigeria Climate Innovation Center. And what we are doing with this program is find smart guys, like Emmanuel Omolaja and his likes, to help them to see how they can not just get money at the
scale,
end of the day, but they can get the knowledge to be able to scale. And I'm happy we are doing that. We are currently incubating, the new set, of smart guys like Emmanuel. The program the application ended in February. So they are now incubating. At the end of the day, they will pitch. And then we'll hear their ideas, and the best of them get the funding. I
mean, the importance of all on and what you've been doing, especially with this, your hub, it cannot be overemphasized. Trust me. You hear people coming in week out, and they tell you how when they got there, perhaps they just had an idea, like a pencil in the hands of the crane. I just saying, but then they get there, it's elaborated to a beautiful piece of art. And then they come out, they're ready, they're prepared not only to scale, but to be able to run the business. Because the whole idea is, if you have an idea and you don't take care of the business part of it,
and some of them don't win the money.
Dies.
Some of them don't even win the money at the end of the day. But the knowledge has been able to help them massively. But Emmanuel, now you got the $10,000 grant. So how do you plan to utilize the funding? How do you plan to spend that money?
Okay, so
I know you're already spending it. But how are you spending it?
Okay, so I would say these numbers I'm talking about, that we've doubled all of that.
Yes.
They wouldn't have been possible without the $10,000 grant.
Wow.
So, and aside the fact that now we're able to scale rapidly, it has also helped with our economies of scale. So one of the things we were trying to target was to bring down the pricing of our systems, to make it very affordable for people. And we won't be able to do that if we don't get our raw materials, at cheaper rates. So because now we have funding to be able to get stuffs in larger quantities, that has helped reduce, the cost of deployment and helped with the economies of scale.
All right, but now people hearing you, the next question they have in their mind is, how much is this product sell? Affordability is a big issue, and people always think this solar is too expensive, that they cannot afford it. Now, someone who is working remotely, who is a tech guy, who is a software developer, who is this, who is that, who would like to get this product. You talked about pricing. How affordable is this product?
Okay, it's very affordable. So our Renerworld Classic system with a single solar panel currently, with deployments anywhere in Nigeria, currently is 265,000 naira. 265,000 naira with a single solar panel.
Okay.
But with double solar panel, it's 295,000 naira. Now you would know it's really cheap. When I was speaking to a particular developer last week, I was like, okay, so before, when you were not using this system, you were spending money on fuel. So how has it been in that regard? It was like, even with the fact that he was using NEPA and all of that, combining everything and putting on the generator, he said he was spending an average of like 6,000 naira on a weekly basis. So that's around 24,000 naira in a month. And in 1 year, you would have spent over 240,000 naira. And Renerworld Classic is a system you probably will use for so many years. The solar panels are going to probably last 50 years, and the system itself is going to last about 10 years. The only thing you probably have to change maybe after about 4-5 years is battery. So that basically means that within like 2 years, you spend way more than the system has the price at which you're getting the system. And that's with the generator passes with combining so many other sources. So and we have people developers, designers who depend entirely on Renerworld Classic at the moment and not even using PHCN because they feel like their demand is less than it's less than the capacity what the system is capable of deploying on a daily basis. So there's no need to go for
part of your specifications. I saw that it can also power through grid power. So it means if the system is plugged, if I get some grid power, maybe for 2-3 hours, that stores in the battery too. In the battery of the system.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So we wanted a system that could also leverage on grid power for the customers, and it works perfectly.
Yeah, I mean that's understandable because there's a lot of people who will be like, I want solar, but let me still have let me still have access to small NEPA, so just in case. So now it becomes useful to them. They can also power their system while there's grid power, and then they can use the solar, of course, as it were.
And another thing that, and so we when we're building Renlight Classic, we thought about a lot of things.
Okay.
We see it like a moving, so it's basically plug and play. So even when they install it for you, you can easily disconnect from like the solar infrastructure and all of that easily.
Okay.
We wanted a system where if you need power all of a sudden. So I imagine this movie, this 3 Idiots, if you watched it, in a case where they had one pregnant woman who was on the hospital bed, and they needed power and they had to start carrying battery and all of that. You could, maybe because they need power somewhere very fast, because you have Renlight Classic, you could easily quickly disconnect it and take it to that location, and they could even charge you with grid power from there. So we wanted something that you could that was portable and you could carry around to also carry out other purposes.
Wow.
Interesting.
I mean, that's just the word. But for those joining us, if you are just tuning in or just joining the program, well, you've missed the beats, but we can tell you, we're having a conversation on power solutions with a young man who decided to start something while he was in school, and today he is CEO of one of the renewable companies that provides power solutions to the tech community. Of course, that community is growing fast and fast by the day, and he is specifically niched out to ensure that those in the tech space have access to power to be able to power their laptops, their TV screen, whatever it is they want to use, even a blender. And very affordable these particular products are. And he's been talking to us about powering the fast-growing tech community in Nigeria. We're talking about Omolaja Emmanuel. He's the CEO of Renerworld Global Limited. Of course, I have a Wisdom Chapp-Jumbo. Together we're doing this, and we are gradually coasting home. But before we go, there are a number of questions to take just before we wrap up Power Solutions today.
All right. So, Emmanuel, I want to ask now, aside Renner Classic, what else does your company do? Do you just, is it Renner Classic you only supply? Do you have other products? Do you have other service you offer?
Yeah, so we actually install large solar PV systems.
Okay.
Renlight Classic is our product. That we design it ourselves here in Nigeria.
But you design it here in Nigeria?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But we have other systems we actually install. For example, we have a project we installed for Unilag that currently powers Unilag data center. Renlight can't do that. You need the bigger systems to do that. And we actually currently have a customer who is totally off grid. So it's fully powered by solar, and it's a mansion. It powers AC, washing machine, hot plate and all of that. So that's a big aspect.
So the entire building is
fully
completely off the grid.
They're off the grid.
They are powered by solar.
Yeah.
100%.
You have a customer like that.
Wow. Let me go off the script a bit and ask you this question, because we are in the world. We are in a time that's interesting time, but it's a time to say it's a time for entrepreneurs. And a lot of people, instead of going off school and trying to get a white collar job, people are beginning to shift away from that to becoming entrepreneurs. So that means you have a lot of young people who would become entrepreneurs, and they have to face the harsh business world. You know how it is. So what is it like when you go to propose to say to a company? So you have a client that relies solely, that's off the grid totally. So what are the common challenges you face when, as a young man, no matter how you wear the suits, no matter how when you get there and say, look, I'm CEO of this, we want to do solar for you guys, What has that been? Just give me. Has it always been easy? Like people say, okay, great, fantastic. You look it. All right, let's do it. Or do you have to prove yourself specially?
So that question is actually a very important one.
Yes.
To be honest with you, it was never easy.
It can never be easy.
They'll be like, who this one?
So many times I have actually wished that I had big chairs. To be honest, I see it and I'm like, God, I wish I'm like this guy. If I enter this office, they will take me more seriously.
Yeah.
But I think what has really helped us, if you look at the numbers I provided at some point, is that we get a lot of our installations from referrals.
Okay.
So we ensure that we are highly customer centric. After sales support is a major issue in Nigeria, we offer that really well.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have
that's a good strategy.
So we get a lot of referrals. We get referrals for all of these projects.
Yeah.
Now for the man I said went off grid, and he had to spend a lot of money. But it started with us installing a system for him as a birthday gift from a customer we installed for before then. He used the system for over a year and was like, wow. my experience with this small system has been great. For my new house, I don't want to depend on NEPA or generator.
Yeah.
And that was how it happened. So, you have to be able to prove yourself one way or the other.
Yeah.
You have to ensure that you're offering great support to people.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that their experience throughout the installation process is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to always be there for them.
Great, man. I mean,
Interesting.
you're gonna go far. I mean, with this mindset, really, I can tell.
And I like what he's saying because as
Yeah.
people are listening, that whole idea that what can solar do?
Yes.
I hope we gradually kill it, and people need to understand that to support themselves with what is happening with power currently across the country. You need solutions like this, to support. My own house is 80% powered by solar. 80%. You understand?
Yeah.
And the 20% we just leave it for grid power, one way or the other. But I want to ask, before we let you go, how can people connect with you? Now, Renner Classic solution can power laptops, phones, extended TV screens and all of that. People will be interested. How can they connect with you?
Okay, so we have different platforms too. You can connect. You can go to our website, www.renerworld.com.
Renerworld.
Yeah, renerworld.com. And then you can also go to our other social media channels if that's what you're very conversant with.
Yeah.
On Instagram, we are Renerworld Ltd. So if you type Renerworld Ltd, you'd see like almost everything. And then on YouTube, so we do something we call Renergist Chats, where we call customers we've installed for to just come talk about our product and their experience. Usually for us to be able to know how to improve, and also for people to be able to know what to get from the system, because we don't want to overpromise or underpromise. So it's better for you to hear from people who actually use the product. We do all of that as well. So we have videos on YouTube that are showing stuff like that.
But is there a number people can call?
Is there a number? Yeah. So they can actually call 090 1594 5241.
Oh, please take that slowly. Again.
Okay, so the official line is 090 1594 5241.
Okay, 5241.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's it. Thank you so much, Wisdom, by the way, for co-hosting this with me on the show today. And Omolaja Emmanuel, thank you so much. You've been an inspiration. I'm sure a lot of people have been inspired by your story. So, guys, big things come in small packages. Don't forget that. So, next time you have a young man looking very young coming up to you and say, I have a solution to your power problem.
Doesn't need to have chest.
Don't wait for chests, all right? It's not by chest. And it's not by belly.
It's not. Oh, belly. That's true.
All right, guys, that's it for the show today. Thank you so much to All On and the Nigerian Info team, of course, making this a success. Guys, let's do this again next week. God bless you.